Hello fellow Clashers, this is KairosTime, out with my second video. You'll notice I got a new microphone, so it's a lot easier to hear me and understand what I'm saying. Today we're going to be going over one of my favorite decks to play around with. Now it requires that you have 3 different legendaries. This is commonly known as the Payfecta deck. They call it the Payfecta deck because, well, it requires 3 legendaries, and usually people that have that kind of a deck are people that are paying money. So luckily I haven't had to pay a single cent on those legendaries, but that's another story. So today we're going to be I'm going to do a little bit of a guide on how to use this type of a deck. It looks like it is a really easy deck because of the 3 different legendaries that it has in it. However, one thing you have to realize is that people are getting better and better at figuring out how to counter legendary cards. And especially when it comes to tournament gameplay, a lot of people have legendary cards. And so you're going to be seeing more and more decks like this as long as the legendary cards remain at the power level that they are. The really nice news about this is that Supercell has actually said that they are planning to make legendary cards more obtainable. Now, how they're going to do that, I don't know, but that does mean that for you, those of you that are maybe missing 1 or 2 of these cards, maybe all 3, you have some good chances of getting these cards later on. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you some different gameplay with me using this deck, but I'm also going to give you a little bit of an instruction on how to use this deck. Now, the idea behind the Legendary Payfecta deck is that you have your miner getting back to distract the tower while either the Ice Wizard or the minions or the Mini P.E.K.K.A. get to the tower, and everything else in there, the goblins and the Ice Spirit along with the Zap, is there just for support. You can make amazing elixir trades with the cards that I've added in there. That Ice Spirit is such a powerful asset when it comes to this deck. I've messed around with the different variations of this deck, and this is by far my favorite. Adding those Ice Spirits make it give this deck so much extra versatility. So we're going to be talking about a little bit about that today. Now I want to give a big shout out to Clash Royale ESG on Twitch. He is frequently putting out tournaments out there. You can follow his channel. I'll try and find a link and put it in the description below so that if you're looking for some tournaments, you can find his. He does them pretty frequently, so he's definitely worth watching and looking out for. Now, in this tournament, I was actually at the grocery store when my friend texted me that and told me that this tournament was going on. So I hurried, grabbed my groceries, checked out, and made it back, and I had 13 minutes to play in this tournament, so I didn't get quite as far as I wanted to, but I'm going to be showing you how far I was able to get in this tournament in just 13 minutes. So we're talking 3-4 matches, or 4, 5, I don't know, but anyways, let's go ahead and get started. So right now we're facing an Ali. Now he's got a Golem deck, which means that his pushes are going to be a lot more slow than mine are. This is a really fast type of deck. Its average elixir cost is 2.6, which means that I'm going to be placing down a lot more cards than he is, which means that I've got to make sure that he does not get the value out of his more costly cards like his Golem by playing lesser costing cards or multiple different types of cards. Now you'll see right here, one thing that I really love about that Ice Spirit is just sending it down with little minions and goblins can actually do a lot of damage because it distracts the tower, freezes it for 2 seconds, and lets those small units do some pretty good damage if your opponent is not going to be defending against that. You'll see right here I've got a pretty regular push going on here. I will drop the Mini P.E.K.K.A. after dropping down the miner. That's a really common push that you can do on here with this type of a deck. It's a really good one. Your opponent will most likely be expecting this type of a push because it's so common to be used right now, and so you can surprise your opponent by throwing down the Ice Spirit with it, And what that does is that if they place down something like another mini P.E.K.K.A. or a Valkyrie or a musketeer or something like that to defend against your mini P.E.K.K.A., it freezes your opponent's troop so that your opponent cannot, so that it doesn't do any damage to your mini P.E.K.K.A. That gives your mini P.E.K.K.A. plenty of time to take down the troop and then make its way down to the tower if they're not prepared with another answer to your push. So far I've played 2 matches. I'm up in 85th out of a 200-man tournament. Still quite a ways to go. I don't think I'll be able to make number 1 in only 13 minutes of this tournament, but we'll see how far I can go. Right now we're facing a guy named Vampire. I'll speed up through some of the gameplay that you don't need to see. Now, this deck is interesting. He's got the 3 musketeers, so I'm going to show you some cool things that you can do with the troops that I've got to defend against the 3 musketeers. You'll watch right here, I'm going to place down the Zap on top of the 3 musketeers and then the Ice Spirit. Now, placing it in that order, the Zap then Ice Spirit, is what it does is it allows your Zap to freeze those 3 musketeers in time for your Ice Spirit to actually freeze them longer so that your tower or other troops can take out that tower. I use this frequently whenever my opponent has a really big push, especially if it's like a giant or backed up with some other troops like a wizard or Valkyrie or musketeer, something like that. What you can do, you can zap them so that they stop for just a second and then place down your Ice Spirit. Doing it in that order will freeze them in time for you to drop down something else to try and do damage, or even just let your tower finish them off like I did with those Valkyries. At this point, Vampire knows that I've won. He's kind of just messing around, having some fun. He knows that this is over. This is a really powerful deck, and you can make one strong push right at the beginning of the match, take down a tower, and totally just defeat them, and they will stop playing for the rest of the game. That's how powerful this is, this type of a deck. Thank you so much for watching today, everybody. I'm going to be doing a part 2 on this so that you can see even more gameplay on this deck and learn how to use it. I really appreciate your feedback that you've given me. You've given me some wonderful ideas on how I can improve my videos. Keep on staying tuned. If you're interested in watching more gameplay on this and seeing how I do in the 13 minutes of this tournament, go ahead and hit that like and then subscribe. We'll talk to you later.